thank you for joining me today. There are fatal health flaws that are taking down strong leaders just like you. Today, I'm going to teach you how to fix it. So my big, hairy, audacious promise to you today, I am absolutely confident that I can solve your health problems fast without wasting your time. And so we're going to be going over 3 things today. The first one is we're going to be going over your fatal flaws. And I'm going to teach you the truth behind why you are slowly losing your edge. Also, I'm going to teach you all about how precision healthcare actually reverses chronic symptoms now. And that's permanently without big pharma. And finally, we're going to take targeted action today to rewrite your health story and protect your calling and your future legacy. So if you'll indulge me for just a few minutes, I want to make sure that you're in the right place. Do you agree with me when I say that personal growth is the key to professional growth? And if yes, let's take a challenge. So what is personal growth, first of all? Now, I take this training direct from Dr. Myron Golden's leadership training. Personal growth is the transformation for the purpose of elevation. Let's think about that for a second. I'm going to change in a way that makes my life higher. We are never satisfied with remaining the same in the status quo like everyone else when we're top leaders. Do you agree with me? Because in order for us to lead effectively, we leaders must grow on a personal level perpetually throughout our lives. In other words, we never really arrive completely. We continue to transform throughout our lives for more and more personal and professional growth, right? And don't you agree that it's this continual, perpetual reaching and striving and achieving our goals that makes life completely worthwhile? And it's how God designed us as leaders, right? So if you said yes, stay with me here because I'm about to challenge you even further. So I want to look at the 6 steps that cause transformation and leadership growth. You ready? The first one is awareness. Leaders see the gap between our now and our true potential, and we don't like that. So we're striving to become aware of the things that we previously were not aware of. So today, it's my highest calling to make you aware of that gap between where you are now and where you could be when it comes to not only your health, but who you are as an awesome leader. If you currently have some chronic symptoms that you need to take care of, there's a big gap there because science now has the answers to know how to fix those. So what are other people doing that you're not doing? If other people are reversing their chronic symptoms, why aren't you? Well, they're achieving, they're moving ahead when you are not yet. I know that's hard to hear, but it's just the truth. But hey, don't worry. I was there too, and you can change that. Number 2, intention. To close the gap between our new awareness of what we could have or who we could be and walk in our new reality. Look, all great leaders are intentional. We don't take little baby steps into our new awareness, man. We sprint towards it. We love crushing our goals. And I'm going to make that easy for you today because it's my calling to help you rise up. I want you to rise up into your true potential. I want you to be able to achieve your health goals and your leadership growth goals faster and more efficiently because now you're going to have the knowledge when we get done talking today. So why do I care about this so much? Because in order for you to be the great leader that God created you to be, you have to have your health. This is non-negotiable, and you know that. If you don't focus on your health, you will be at risk for losing everything that you worked so hard for. Everything that you built could be gone in a flash. And I know it happened to me. And I'm going to tell you my nightmare health story in just a moment. And please don't get upset with me for just speaking straight up truth to you. I hope you appreciate that. because I didn't make the rules about your health. God did when he created you. And look, the simple truth is, if you don't focus on your health now, you will be forced to focus on your sickness and your suffering later on. That's a fact, Jack. So let's move on to number 3, making the decision. So decisions are not a choice. Decisions are not to rise. Okay? Top leaders just do. They close the gap and they make it happen, period. The word decision actually comes from the Latin root de, which means from, and side, which means to cut. So think about that for a minute. And I'm going to read this directly to you because this is a direct quote from Dr. Myron Golden. Listen to this. A decision is a covenant you make to yourself such that you would rather die rather than live and break your covenant with yourself. Right? Right? Isn't that how you feel when you have a goal to crush and you don't crush it? So now let's move on to number 4, discipline. Once you make that covenant with yourself, it requires discipline to actually accomplish change, right? Right. Okay. As you know, all great leaders have to cultivate discipline in their lives because we have obstacles and challenges to overcome, right? Big ones. And you know that usually when you make a hard decision to achieve a goal, what happens inevitably is something hard happens, something challenging happens, an obstacle happens. And the reason why is really because God wants to grow us. God wants us to realize that those obstacles, we can handle them. We can jump right over them. We can demolish them. And he has given us the strength and the power to do so. And we have to have discipline in order to focus our eyes on the prize rather than the little obstacles that we have to jump over and over and over in order to get to our promise, in order to get to our transformation. That's the growth, man. That's the prize. And it's worth it. We love it, right? So, I'm not going to lie to you. What I'm about to teach you today to get your health back and to have your full total transformation, it is a challenge. Of course it is. If you want to jump out of bed feeling energized every single morning and motivated, and you have such brain power that you're just excited about getting on with the day, and you have true joy because you know you're achieving something great and you're becoming totally in control of your health the same way you are in control of everything else in your life, yeah, you're going to have to make some changes. And changes are challenges. But I know you can do this. You're going to win because you always do. And you know what I've learned by walking through my own health challenges is that, wow, the growth, the beauty on the other side of achieving your health is way bigger. It's way better. And you're going to absolutely love it when you get there. It truly makes life easier when you have your health and when you're not just, grappling with all the weird little symptoms that come out of nowhere and you've got to take this medication and you've got to, depend on big pharma and you've got to depend on going to the doctors. I mean, it just really makes your life so much easier when you fix the problem, when you fix it at the root cause. So leaders give themselves recognition for every small up-leveling step that they make, because that's part of your journey. And you know that. A month or two or now, your cells could be 20%, 30%, 40% stronger. And you're going to feel better because of it. And that's just in a couple of months. Imagine how you can feel if you adopt a lifestyle practice to follow the latest science and to do what you need to do in order to have your optimal health. Oh my goodness, 6 months from now, imagine how you're going to feel. A year from now, imagine how you're going to feel. I mean, and it just keeps getting better and better and better. So I am 95% healed right now. And I am 62 years old, okay? I'm no young spring chicken, but I feel like I'm 35. I feel healthier now than even back when I was a teenager. I am absolutely crushing my life. And that's what I want for you too. So how about you? Does all this describe you as a leader? Are you really ready to rise up and achieve your transformation with your health? Because if you are, I'm here to help you. I have the solution to make getting your health back easier and faster than you ever thought it could be. I'm about to rock your world and teach you things that your doctor never told you. And I'm going to turn upside down those things that you thought you knew about your health. We've got so much to do, so let's go. So just what is precision healthcare? And why are organizations suddenly investing billions in it? Billions with a B? Why do you think that is? This is a Forbes article. They're investing billions in it, specifically in cellular regeneration and longevity and all the other things that I'm about to teach you today because it works. And did you know that your doctor is right now practicing 17 years behind the new scientific discoveries? Well, that ought to piss you off. What's wrong with our system that this is happening? This should not be happening. Doctors should be up to date with the latest science. They should be telling you everything we can do to not just manage your chronic symptoms, not just label it and put a surgery on it or put some big pharma on it. Okay. Your doctor should be helping you, but they're not. And there are over 600,000 documented research studies from all around the world that are talking about reversing chronic illness, not just managing it. 600,000 studies could not be wrong, and they're not. So let's look at the ROI for just a minute here. Just in the year 2022 alone, 5.2 billion with a B dollars was injected into over 130 different cellular regeneration and longevity companies. Now, that was in an article from Yahoo Finance. And you need to know, if you don't already, that the global wellness economy was valued at $5.6 trillion in 2022, trillion with a T, and that's a 12% increase over 2020. And the global wellness economy is expected to rise to over 8.5 trillion with a T dollars by 2027. That was an article by Fortune magazine. Do you think they're wrong? Or do you think there's something to this precision healthcare? If you're not currently using precision healthcare, you're behind the times. And your health is your wealth. And if you don't invest in your health now, you are definitely going to pay more later in suffering, in illness, in loss of productivity, just like I did. And trust me, you do not want to live that life like I did. That was 14 years of hell for me. And I don't want you to have to go through the same thing that I did. So I want to look at the differences for you between the old school method of mainstream medicine and the new method of precision healthcare. So first of all, you're totally out of control with the old mainstream medical system. They have old school dogmas. They are symptom based. It's big pharma required, which causes side effects and cellular damage and genetic damage and even brain damage and higher inflammation. And then you're labeled with a disease. You are stuck for life. You're told that you're incurable and you're left feeling absolutely confused. And you're going to get worse over time because they're not really fixing the root cause. Now, on the flip side, with precision healthcare, you are absolutely in complete control. This is the new precision science based on new scientific discoveries. It has an absolute root cause focus. It removes big pharma, so you're not straddled to that anymore. It's going to uplevel your energy, improve your cognition, enhance your mood, regenerate your cells. It's going to improve the way your genes actually express. What? I'm going to teach you about that in just a few minutes. It's going to actually create a whole new you. You're going to have new tissues. You're going to lower You're what we call inflammaging, which is just, fast aging that none of us really need to do. You're going to actually reverse your biological age. And if you don't believe me, well, you got a lot to learn. It reduces your disease risk for things like cancer and Alzheimer's disease. And it creates joy and purpose because now you are fully in control. So if you don't know me, my name is Dory Smith. I am a precision medical scientist. I am a research immunotoxicologist specialized in autoimmunity, and I have 28 years of experience as a medical detective. I'm also, since I've been healed, I've become a licensed holistic practitioner so that I can help people just like you. And I have reversed my own deadly health crisis and helped thousands to optimize their health. And I'm now partnered with the Professional Wellness Alliance. And what we're doing is we're truly transforming lives and changing the face of healthcare. It's my very passionate mission to empower leaders like you with knowledge and truth. I want you to be able to master the life that God created you for with all your energy, all your joy. And what does scripture say? My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. And that's exactly what's happening today. So before I go any further, I want to tell you about one of our clients, Dr. Dorothy. And Dorothy is a molecular pathologist who developed very severe scleroderma. It's the same disease that I had as well. And she says she nearly lost her career. And she also said that as a doctor, she was never taught the root causes of her autoimmune disease, or, much less how to reverse it. And of course, she believed that she was incurable because that's what she was taught. And she says it took a scientist and medical detective like Dory to find my root causes and correct them with the new scientific breakthroughs that I wasn't taught in medical school. And then I love this. She says, Dory's program has changed my ability to thrive. My symptoms are 75% corrected, and I'm still getting better and better. Okay, these are the kinds of results that you can also expect. So now I want to take a couple of minutes to tell you my nightmare story and what happened to me. I was at the top of my game. I was a research scientist. I had finished my master's degree. I was almost done with my PhD when I got so sick, I couldn't go on. And I was first diagnosed with a very severe autoimmune disease called scleroderma, or systemic sclerosis. And they coupled it with severe fibromyalgia, of course, the catch-all disease. By the way, it just means that you're inflamed. And within 3 years, I was diagnosed with 7 deadly autoimmune diseases, including Crohn's, including lupus, including Hashimoto's, including Addison's disease, including arthritis. I mean, it was just, it felt like a never-ending nightmare, truly. And I felt like I lost my purpose. I hung on for a little while, but I eventually lost my career. I had to go out on disability. I want you to know how it felt to have over $200,000 invested into my career, into my education. My whole life was ahead of me. I was excited for the work that I was doing, and I lost it all. Every time I went to the doctor, I was given another big pharma Band-Aid, which helped a little, but in the long run, I found out made me much, much worse. I racked up so many big pharma Band-Aids that every day I was taking at least 12 prescriptions. And on a bad day, I was taking up to 20 different types of prescriptions just to keep me going. But I didn't settle for that. I took back my control, just like I'm going to teach you how to do today. And how did I do it? With precision root cause healthcare. And I got to tell you the controversy here. Like, it really threw me for a loop because I realized that I'm a medical scientist at the very top level of education, and yet I was not taught the latest science that was available that could have kept me from 14 years of suffering in disability. I want to prevent this from happening to you, because the sooner you catch those symptoms, the faster you can turn them around, and you will never have to go through anything like what I did. Precision root cause healthcare literally saved my life, and it's going to do the same for you too. Precision root cause healthcare is a very precise approach. It's scientific. It's evidence-based. It found all of my specific root causes that involved my genetics. It involved my immunity, my gut microbiome, my exposome. I'm going to explain to you what that means in just a little bit. Literally, precision healthcare saved my life, and I'm alive with my calling today to teach you this information. Now, I am in absolute, complete control of my health. I jump out of bed every morning with abundant energy. I have muscle strength. I have awesome mitochondrial functioning. I have reversed all that brain fog and the loss of motivation and the anxiety and the depression that comes when you have chronic symptoms. And I don't have to fake that anymore. My life truly is filled with joy. And I don't have to fake that anymore. My life truly is now filled with joy. I have absolutely eliminated my dependence on big pharma medications. I no longer use any of them, and I haven't for 8 years. And I have erased all my pain, all my limitations. I have optimized my cellular functioning, my epigenetic functioning. All of my immune biomarkers are back to normal. I have reset my gut microbiome. I've lost 100 pounds. Woo, thank you. I've absolutely reversed my metabolic dysfunction and my fatty liver disease. And I've reversed all of those unique root causes that were specific for me. Things like the chronic stealth infections, the Epstein-Barr virus, the gut overgrowths, the parasites. I've also reversed my insomnia, and that was one of my worst symptoms of all. It was absolutely horrible living like that. And I've also reversed all of those many toxicities, the things like the heavy metals, the plastics, the glyphosates, all the environmental chemicals, the things that wreak havoc on your hormones and your entire life. And at this point now, I've helped thousands to take back total control over their health conditions. So, I got my life and my career back. I actually reversed 7 deadly autoimmune conditions and 15 years on Social Security disability. And what happened next was, just a miracle of God. He started my business, True Wellness Today, and we opened up the Cellular Healing and Longevity Center here. And the mission, of course, is to empower leaders to achieve their dramatic, life-changing, and permanent health results, and lead your lives with passion and purpose that God created you for. And I'm thrilled to help you too, if you're ready. It is your turn to thrive. And if you haven't already heard about the Make America Healthy Again movement, there are so many awesome doctors and scientists who are part of this movement. And we truly are revolutionizing our broken sick care system, the sick care management system that we're all tired of. We're bringing the groundbreaking science to the forefront so you can use it. We're empowering you with knowledge and with truth so you can take full control of your life without health limitations. So I want to tell you about another one of my awesome overachieving clients, Scott. He says, Dory saved my life. He was a Hollywood stuntman. He's a professional surfer, and he was misdiagnosed by the University of Southern California. And he was given an autoimmune disease and actually a death sentence. They told him that he would probably only live for 2 more years. And he felt like he was withering away and he was dying. He said within a month of working with us, we found his root causes. We gave him his precision protocols. And he says within 12 months, he was back to being 80% better. Within 18 months, he was 100% reversed. And he says, now I wonder where she hides her wings. And when I interviewed him, here's a grown man crying with joy. He was so thrilled with what he was able to accomplish. And I want you to know that you can do this too. So if you're excited and you're chomping at the bit and you just want to hurry up and grab an appointment with us here at the Cellular Healing and Longevity Center, you can order your first consult, which we call our Longevity Advantage Assessment. And this is a really cool package for you. It's over 2 hours of a private root cause discovery. It's truly a health revelation challenge. For 4 different sessions over 4 days, we're going to dive deep into those specific health limitations that you have. And we're going to discover your hidden fatal flaws and all those root causes. We're also going to analyze any previous test results you've had, either from a regular practitioner or from even a functional or a holistic doctor. We're going to put it all together. We're going to give you a targeted testing strategy. And you can do this either virtually or in our office here in San Diego. And that is normally an $800 appointment. But don't worry, we're going to give you a really good deal today. We're also going to give you an action plan to correct all those root causes with a personalized nutrition and lifestyle protocol. We're also going to give you a targeted supplement protocol. So most people use supplements just because they see some ad on the internet, and we're going to teach you how to do that properly and save you a lot of money. And you only use the supplements that you need for the time that you need to use them. And of course, this gives you much faster results. And we're also going to give you a free bonus. We're going to give you 10% off of all of our physician grade supplements. And that's for life. You can always have that benefit. Normally, this is a $1,500 appointment, but I'm going to give you this consultation today for only $497. Now, I only have 5 of these to give at this price. And remember, this is a science-backed consultation, and it's actually going to protect your legacy and your health plan. So if this is for you, go ahead, pull out your phone, and you can order it right now with a QR code. Hey, but don't go anywhere. I have got so much more to teach you today. I want to teach you about what those root causes are, what those fatal flaws are that you have. I want to show you the scientific breakthroughs that actually reverse your chronic symptoms for life. I want to show you what you are probably doing that are causing your own symptoms right now. Those mistakes that you're making every single day that's actually causing you to lose your brain power, to lose your productivity, to let your hormones go crazy. We don't want that anymore. So I'm going to teach that to you right now. And I'm going to teach you how to fix it. I'm going to give you those action steps that you can make the decision to start taking today to change your life. So now I want to show you something that is probably the most important thing that I am going to show you today. If you forget everything else that I said, please listen up right now and remember this slide, because this is the new scientific model of disease. This is what scientists know that we know that we know. This is what causes disease. Are you ready? This is easy. Here you go. It's your genetic errors, which are things that can be fixed. We know that now. So don't worry about that. You're not stuck with your genes. Plus your metabolic disorder, which really boils down to a lot of things that your cells are missing that, again, can be corrected. Plus your toxic overload. And that also includes your stress or your traumas, right? And toxic overload are things like, heavy metals or mold mycotoxins or chemicals, plastics, all of these. Okay. And it can also include things like infections and parasites and gut overgrowth, things like that. Anything that produces a toxin gets wrapped up in that toxic overload. So it's a pretty big category. So it's your genetic errors that can be fixed, plus your cellular deficiencies and your metabolic disorder, which can be fixed, plus your toxic overload and stress, which can be fixed. Okay. Those 3 things then give chronic inflammation. Scientifically, those 600,000 research papers that I was telling you about, every single one of them point to chronic inflammation being the main driver of basically every disease that we've ever studied. Okay. So it's no longer just a theory. We know that it's your genetic errors, again, which can be fixed, plus your metabolic disorder or your cellular deficiencies, things that can be fixed, then your toxic overload, again, things that can be fixed, things that can be detoxed out with your stress, and that's what creates your chronic inflammation. The chronic inflammation is, again, the main driver of all disease. Chronic inflammation causes cellular degeneration and loss of cellular function. So basically, it causes your cells to slowly just die, not work right, have all kinds of errors. You don't want that. When that happens, you will feel it. And I'm sure you already are. You're going to have the loss of energy first. That's the very first thing that happens. You're going to have the brain fog and the gut dysfunction and the immune dysregulation. You're going to have all of those things. Then you're going to start having the chronic symptoms getting worse and worse. And pretty soon you're going to start having major organ system failures. And I don't mean like, your kidneys are gone. I don't mean that. I mean, they're failing on the cellular level. And you're starting to see it in your blood work. You're starting to see that you have a thyroid disorder. That's one of the first things that can happen. Or you're starting to have major, major gut problems that we can see on testing. You're starting to have your liver enzymes rise, and anything that has to do with cardiovascular disease. All of this, we start to see signs and symptoms of it in your blood work when your chronic symptoms are worsening and we have organ system failures at the cellular level. What happens then is you're going to have faster aging. You're going to have loss of your productivity and your purpose and prolonged suffering. And of course, early death. All of this is reversible. It's not only reversible, it's preventable. And we need to start teaching our children how to take care of their genetic errors so that they never become a disease, how to take care of their metabolic disorders and their cellular deficiencies. So again, it never causes disease. And we need to teach children how to take care of their toxic overload and their stress so that, again, none of these things will ever become the chronic inflammation that then causes the cellular degeneration and the disease. Okay? But you're not a child. How does that help you? Well, just the same way that it helped me. We can reverse the toxic overload and the stress. We can reverse the cellular deficiencies. We can reverse the genetic errors. And what happens when we reverse is we reverse the chronic inflammation. No more disease. That's what happened to me. That's what happens to all our clients, and you can do it too. So now I want to break this down for you. So the first area that I want to talk about are your genetics. And I want you to know that way back in 2002, scientists learned that your genes are not your destiny. We used to believe that there was nothing that we could do about our genes and our genetic expression, but that is just no longer true. You have way more control over your health than you thought you did. Your genes are your foundation to your health or your disease. That is very true, but it is your choice how your genes express from moment to moment. You literally have control over the way your genes express every 30 seconds of your life. That's how much control you have. You can absolutely control the way your genes express their proteins, and this produces either good health or disease. And you need to learn what your genes are saying so that you can make them say healthy things for your body. So if you let me get a little geeky on you, I would love to teach you about the new science of epigenetics. And look, it's just the study of your genetic expression. It's how your genes are interacting with everything happening in your environment. And that's what your genes do. They have to monitor everything that's happening. And your environmental triggers are what's called your exposome. Basically, you can think of it like this. Everything that you're exposed to is your exposome. And your genes are continually monitoring. They're like the best security guard in the world. And they will react to anything going on in your environment, everything that you're exposed to, everything that you're eating, even everything that you're thinking. Okay. And your genes express proteins that either cause health or disease every single moment. You absolutely do have way more control than you ever thought you did over your own genetic expression. So, what are sciences practitioners doing now, like me? We are creating personalized health plans based on your foundation, which is your genetics and your exposome. And this is the bottom line foundation of what is going to heal you. And actually, if you don't do this, or if you flake at this for some reason because, you just don't feel like doing it, guess what? You will always have some kind of chronic health problem going on in your body. You will always have higher inflammation if you don't get this one step right. This is one of your fatal flaws if you're not doing this. And what happens when we actually do pay attention to our genetic blueprint and the way our genes are expressing is we're going to ensure a faster, more effective, and a long-lasting, actually a lifelong lasting solution compared to traditional or basic, even conventional medicine or even functional medicine, because, a lot of functional medicine practitioners, a lot of holistic practitioners or naturopaths, they will never run your genetics, or they will only run just a very small piece of your genetics. Like they'll look at your methylation, or they'll, that's pretty typical. But what we do here is we look at your entire genetic blueprint. And that's the difference working with scientists. So what goes along with your genetics is not just the science of epigenetics, but also the science of nutrigenomics. And oh my goodness, this is so extremely exciting because it's the science of how your food actually affects your genetic expression. So like I told you, your exposome, everything that you're exposed to, and the number one thing that affects your genes is what you put in your mouth. So of course, what we do here is we're going to harness that cutting edge epigenetic science and the nutrigenomic science together. And we're going to create a customized nutrition plan and lifestyle plan that's based on your personal genetic needs. It's the absolute foundation. And again, it's what all conventional practitioners miss. And most functional practitioners, holistic practitioners, and naturopaths and chiropractors, they all miss this step too. It's the missing puzzle piece. It's actually the foundation of why people can work at a deeper level for their health and still not get all the way well. You've got to have your genetic foundation in place. I cannot say that strong enough. You must have your genetic foundation in place if you want to heal, that is. So let me tell you about Jackie, one of my clients here. She says, imagine getting your life and your career back. This is what Dory's expertise did for me. She found my root causes and taught me how to correct them fast and efficiently. I only wish I found her sooner, as I wasted so much time and money trying to figure this out on my own. And she says, don't wait. Do it now. She's got her career back. She actually was able to become pregnant and have another baby. And she was told that she would never be able to be well enough to have another child. Wow. That's life-changing. So again, let's remember where we were. It's the genetic errors, which we just talked about, plus those metabolic problems, the cellular deficiencies, the things that your cells are missing, plus your toxic overload and your stressors. And that's what creates the chronic inflammation and then all of the disease that just gets worse and worse. Okay. So we just talked about how the genetic errors are reversible. Now we're going to talk about the metabolic disorder and the cellular deficiencies and how to reverse those. All right. So, I mean, unless you've been living under a rock, if you've watched the news at all in the last 10 years, we know that we absolutely can reverse the way we age and the rate at which we age, right? And we also know that it's the metabolic dysfunction, it's the chronic inflammation, and all of those various things that your cells are missing that's causing most of the disease that we see. It's causing autism, it's causing cancer, right? And just basically all the different diseases that we see. Okay. So the diabetes, the thyroid disease, the heart disease, even Alzheimer's, cognitive dysfunction, all the hormone dysregulation, the mood issues, the ADHD in our kids, the anxiety and depression in our young people, and in us too, as we age, even cancer, we know it all starts with that metabolic dysfunction and the chronic inflammation that it causes. And did you know that only 12% of American adults are actually considered metabolically healthy? This is from the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill. And this was a fairly recent paper that just came out. And so, are you one of the 12% that are metabolically healthy? Or are you the 88% who are not metabolically healthy and who are actually walking themselves to faster aging, more suffering, and more chronic illness? And I can tell you an easy way for you to know the difference. If you have any chronic types of symptoms at all, anything, including the mood stuff, including the brain fog, including the little aches and pains, all of that, it's not just aging. As a matter of fact, it's not aging. There are 99-year-old adults who don't feel the way you do now because they're metabolically healthy. Okay. And so if you have any of those symptoms, you're in the 88%, and you need to do something about it, take the bull by the horns, and just fix the problem. So let's talk about the new science of metabolic bioenergetics. This has everything to do with your mitochondria, which, of course, you learned this back in high school. They're the energy powerhouses of your cells, and they're critical for producing your ATP and all of your energy production for all of your cellular functions for life. And the science here is groundbreaking, you guys. It's absolutely amazing. I could geek out just by studying the mitochondria and how it functions all day long. Okay. This is really the very first step of your energy loss in all disease. So, pretty much every single person who starts having any kind of chronic issues and metabolic disorder, the very first symptom that you're going to notice is that, yeah, you're just tired. You just don't have everything you need to get through the day. I mean, why do we think if 88% of people are metabolically dysfunctional, that's why Starbucks has made so much money, because people need that afternoon kick, right? Because they just don't have the energy that you were created to have. And it doesn't matter how old you are. And so the study of metabolic bioenergetics is the study of keeping the mitochondria as healthy as possible, giving your mitochondrial cells every single thing that they need so that they can provide your abundant energy, your abundant brain functioning, abundant muscle strength for all of your organs, for all of your cells, so that you can feel fantastic every single day and nothing breaks down. So, and again, the Make America Healthy movement is talking all about these things. I just don't think that they're going deep enough, but okay, that's my opinion. And we can talk about that controversy all day long. But the Make America Healthy movement is at least opening people's eyes to the strategies that promote longevity now and in the very near future. The science is exploding exponentially. And if you don't know who Dr. Peter Diamandis or Tony Robbins are, they wrote a book together. And you need to learn more about everything that they're saying in that book. But by now, it's old news. Okay, that book came out a few years ago and it's old news. It's called Life Force. If you want to read it, if you want to pick it up and look it up, I don't make any money on it. I'm just telling you, it's a great book, but there's so much more now to teach you. And so part of the Make America Healthy Again movement is, of course, people are opening their eyes to like Huberman podcast, right? Where he talks about metabolic dysfunction and inflammation that causes heart attacks and strokes and even cancer. People like Drew Pruitt, same thing, metabolic dysfunction, inflammation. It's the underlying cause of all disease. Dr. Mark Hyman, metabolic dysfunction, inflammation sets the stage for cardiovascular disease, strokes, peripheral artery disease, and even vascular dementia. Sean Stevenson, these are all very, very famous health podcasters. Metabolic dysfunction and inflammation explains most of the chronic symptoms that we see. And of course, just recently, Tucker Carlson with Casey and Callie Means. If you have not seen that video, holy smokes, they blew it wide open. Just go look up on YouTube, Tucker Carlson and Casey Means, and wow, your eyes will be absolutely wide open to what we're dealing with our health and how to reverse it. Now, Casey and Callie are actually talking about, just the metabolic disorder part of this, but there is so much more that you need to learn. And so just to give you some recent papers that have come out, this is a 2021 paper, Chronic Tissue Inflammation and Metabolic Disease, and how it ties directly back to chronic inflammation and problems in the immune system, problems in gut health. Here's another one, metabolic syndrome and autophagy, a focus on a specific protein that's involved. And these are all studies that are proving that it really does all go back to that metabolic dysfunction. And you have to remember, like I said in the beginning of our equation, that the genetic dysfunction is actually causing the cellular and metabolic dysfunction. And that's why you've got to get the genetic dysfunction right, then fix the metabolic dysfunction. Okay. So here's another one. Impaired sensitivity to thyroid hormones is associated with diabetes and metabolic syndrome. So metabolic syndrome is not just diabetes, you guys. It's the very first domino that starts this whole ball rolling when people start to get sick, right? So metabolic syndrome, autoimmunity, and rheumatic diseases. Metabolic syndrome is the first domino of autoimmune diseases. Post-acute sequelae of COVID-19 coming from a metabolic perspective. And, what did we all learn from that whole experiment? We learned that the people who had metabolic dysfunction, the worse their metabolic dysfunction was, the more likely they were to die from a virus. That ought to scare the holy living crap out of you. We really need to fix our genetic foundation, and we need to fix our metabolic disorder so that we don't have to worry about things like COVID-19 or any disease X coming down the pike. Makes sense, doesn't it? So now I want to talk to you about some of the most exciting research to come out ever in the human experience. It's the new science of cellular regeneration, longevity, and anti-aging. And this is where Zuckerberg and all the really rich people are putting their money into right now, because this works. So looking at the way your cells regenerate and how they age, it's really critical for optimal health, for optimal brain function, and for cancer prevention. So every single minute in your body, you lose about 300 million cells. And that is the process of autophagy. And that's the process that your body uses in order to remove those older cells that are producing inflammation. Your body needs to get rid of those cells. It does not want you to have cells that are dysfunctioning and causing inflammation. And so what your body does is it renews those 300 million cells. You don't just lose them, of course, right? You wouldn't live very long if that were the case. It's renewing those cells. When it renews with new cells, it's helping you to stay healthy. It's helping you to prevent disease. It's helping you to slow down aging. Okay. The problem is that what we're all doing, well, I'm not doing it anymore, but what most people are doing when they have cellular deficiencies and metabolic disorder, and when they have genetic problems that are firing out of control, they are renewing with new cells that are still under attack. And so even your brand new cells every minute are still producing more and more inflammation, more and more inflammation. And it just adds up. Okay. But you can turn that process around and slow down your aging and enhance your energy and your vitality and, of course, your joy. So here's just another paper that shows how your genes are expressing combined with your metabolic syndrome and how that is creating your disease. But again, you can reverse this. Here's another one, the same thing, bioenergetics in brain degeneration and regeneration. Exciting stuff. You're creating new brain cells every single minute, right up until the day that you die. And here's another one, the Western diet is a trigger of Alzheimer's disease, metabolic syndrome, systemic inflammation, neuroinflammation, neurodegeneration. I mean, this is the stuff that you just do not want to have happen to you. But it will if you don't do something about it. Now, of course, no talk on health would be finished until we talked about your gut microbiome. So your gut microbiome is those trillions of beneficial microorganisms, and actually not only in your gut, but throughout your whole body. And they are absolutely proven now to have a major role in every organ in your body, especially your brain and your immunity. Of course, they're responsible for how well you digest and absorb all your nutrients. They're responsible for the way your thyroid functions, the way your hormones express, your sexual health, your emotional and your mental health. And they're absolutely responsible in balancing and reversing disease. They actually nurture and prevent disease if you fix your gut health. And so, a lot of people talk about leaky gut and leaky brain, and some people believe, oh, it's not really a real thing. Oh, yes, it is. That was proven way back in 2007, and it's been proven over and over since then. So if you're one of those people that still believe that this is just woo-woo, you're behind the times, and it's time to catch up. And this is just an amazing paper that came out where they were reversing major neurological diseases. Now, this was done in mice, but they've also been able to take this into the clinic in human models now as well. You can literally reverse major mental health and emotional health disorders just by working on the different bugs in the gut and making sure that they're balanced properly. So look, the types of things that they're able to reverse are autism, schizophrenia, Parkinson's disease, Alzheimer's disease, depression and anxiety, multiple sclerosis, Huntington's disease, anorexia. Okay. I'm telling you, this is so exciting. And this is the real science. We actually can reverse major diseases that we thought were incurable. This is a study on fasting and how it is so beneficial for the gut microbiome. It can reduce blood pressure, reduce body weight, change that whole metabolic syndrome. And we absolutely know that the gut microbiome is linked to the brain and to your immune system. And of course, let's not forget when people talk about circadian rhythm exercises and they think, oh, that's not doing anything. It's just a bunch of woo-woo. Oh no. When you're doing a circadian rhythm exercise, you are actually changing your gut microbiome. You are actually reversing your metabolic syndrome, and you are actually preventing things like cancer. And some people think that the whole gluten sensitivity thing is just a fad. Well, it's really not. Gluten absolutely causes gut dysbiosis and brain malfunction. So all that brain fog, maybe need to lay off the bread a little bit. And this is another one of our clients. And I just love the emotional benefits that she got from our program here. She says, Dory in her program gave me answers when I was told that there were none. Dory gave me hope when I was told that I was hopeless. And best of all, Dory gave me support when others walked away. Now that's Pam. I just love her, and she's just doing great now. So to wrap this all up for you, let's remember that scientific model of disease. It's your genetic errors first. This is your foundation. You've got to fix these things and get them right, because if you don't, what happens is you get the whole metabolic disorder thing happening and all those cellular deficiencies. Then when your exposome, all these things that you're exposed to, the toxicities and the stress get involved, now you've got a ton of chronic inflammation, and that's what causes the disease. But again, every single thing is reversible here. You are not stuck with this. So lastly, I want to talk to you about the science of immunotoxicology. This is where I spent pretty much all of my training as a master's and a PhD researcher. And this is a study of how all the different toxins that we're exposed to damage the immune system and then cause disease. So that's that third piece of the equation, the toxic overload. And of course, the toxic overload is really the biggest piece of your health puzzle. The biggest fatal flaws are the fact that you're holding on to toxins in your body, or you are allowing yourself to be continually exposed to new toxins. And of course, it's linked to all the different chronic symptoms, the organ damage, the cancer, the heart disease, the autoimmunity, the Alzheimer's, and really every chronic illness that we see has that element of toxic overload, the third part of our equation. And really what we know now scientifically is that it really is the toxic overload that is the biggest fatal flaw that you have in your health right now. And you definitely need to pay attention to this and do something about it, because it's where you can get the best results. And of course, this includes things like mold mycotoxins and heavy metals and the pesticides and the microplastics and most of the medications. All these things are weakening and overstimulating your immune system. And what happens then is that then you can start developing chronic infections, and those infections also release toxins. So I'm talking about things like the Epstein-Barr virus, the cytomegalovirus, chronic Lyme disease, shingles, parasites, gut overgrowths like the yeasts and the candidas. Okay? All of these things can only happen when you've got also some of these other toxic factors going on in your body. They damage the immune system. And now when you're exposed to all these things, your immune system just can't handle them the way it should. Precision testing reveals all these hidden toxic factors. So once you remove the toxins, then you actually get the biggest jump in benefits of reversal of disease. Now, what if the insides of your cells looked like this? Eek. Well, that's toxic overload. And that's probably what's happening in your cells right now. So here's some more papers for you. The impact of toxic metal accumulation on colorectal cancer. Okay, there is a definite connection between toxins and colorectal cancer, which is the #1 cancer that we see in middle-aged adults. One more time. I give it to you over and over again because I want you to know that this is fixable. It's your genetic errors that you can fix, plus that metabolic disorder and the cellular deficiencies that you can fix, plus the toxic overload and the stress that you absolutely can reverse and fix. That is what is causing the chronic inflammation that then is causing all of your different symptoms that you're feeling. That feeling of being out of control with your health, it's just because of these three things creating your chronic inflammation. You absolutely don't need to let this become faster aging, loss of productivity and purpose, or prolonged suffering or an early death. Why would you do that when we know how to fix it now? It is all reversible. And just to prove to you that precision medicine actually works, it's not just cool science, it's not just advanced discoveries. Here is a Journal of American Medical Association paper that proved that functional medicine actually gave better outcomes than conventional medicine. Okay, this stuff works. Here's another one. Systems biology and the future of medicine. So just so you know, the names functional medicine and system biology, they're all basically the same thing. It's using the latest science in order to reverse disease and have optimal health. And now, of course, the whole systems biology and functional medicine, now that's starting to become old school. Now it's evolved into precision healthcare. And that's what we do for you here. The latest, most advanced science to help you reverse and optimize. You absolutely can heal. Your body was designed by God to heal. And if you don't believe me, go cut yourself. And a few days later, you're going to start to notice that that cut is healing. Within a week or two, it's going to be completely healed over. And you may not even know that you ever had a little cut there in the first place. Your body was designed to heal. The problem is that no one's ever told you about your genetic flaws. And so you never had a chance to use that data to give yourself that awesome foundation to make yourself healthier. You don't even have the data on your cells right now and how they're functioning and the things that they're missing. You don't even have the data on all of the different toxins and the little chronic infections that are going on in your gut and in your body. You don't have any of that information, and that's what you're missing. That's why you're sick. These are your fatal flaws. And when I say fatal, I mean it. It's the truth. But you absolutely can reverse it. You absolutely can heal. So I already know, if you've spent all this time with me today, I already know that you're a successful professional. I already know that you can do this. I know that you're coachable, that you value good mentorship, because good mentorship saves you time and money in the long run. I know that you know how to take the bull by the horns, and you know how to up level fast. You take quick action, you implement, you make decisions, and you move forward. And you're focused on the progress, not the perfection. You know how to set goals and crush them. And I also know that you want that lifelong healing, and you want lifelong learning, lifelong up-leveling. You want the lifelong achievement. And that's what we're going to give you here. That's why we specialize in working with leaders, so you can go out and lead in the way that God created you to, and help so many more people. Now, at this point, you're probably wondering, exactly how are we going to accomplish this? Exactly how are we going to reverse? And the first step is really to power up. We need to pay attention to those root causes that are causing your energy loss, because, hey, no gas, no go. If we don't pay attention to your energy and your mitochondrial cells, then you're not going to have enough energy to do any of the healing work at all. Okay. So that's the basic first consult that you have with us, is we're going to be determining how to help your mitochondria and get your energy back right away. Step 2 is then working on your genetics, getting that good genetics testing done. And this is not the little, dinky ones that you see out there on the internet. Okay. This is the real deal. This is the full genetic blueprint with 36 pathways. And it's actually looking very specifically at your nutrigenomics, your epigenetic factors, and how exactly to get your diet, your lifestyle, and your supplementation perfect to fix your specific genetic mutations. Okay. That's your foundation. That's absolutely critical. And this is the step that most people miss. Okay. Then step 3 is actually cleaning and rebuilding. So here's where we're really starting to correct all of those different cellular deficiencies. We're correcting the metabolic disorder, and we're cleaning up the gut health, because, by this point, when you've got chronic symptoms, you do have gut dysfunction. I guarantee you it's there. And we just need to clean that up and then start rebuilding those cells. Start allowing your cells to have more of what they need without the genetic problem, without the mitochondrial problem. You'll have enough energy in order to rebuild and clean up. And finally, now we can do the deeper detoxification work, the correction work that actually removes all those different toxins, the big third part of the equation, the toxic overload, and also work on your stress all at the same time. And here's another one of our clients. She says, Dory's been blessed with a tremendous gift from God as a medical detective. And I love being a medical detective. I love being your geek in your back pocket. And Lindsay says, having suffered herself, she's kind and compassionate, has always been there for me throughout my healing journey. She says, Lyme disease and mold took nearly everything from me, but now I'm healing. God bless you, Dory. So even things as bad as Lyme disease absolutely can be reversed. Don't believe that craziness out there on the internet or in those Facebook groups that say that, well, once you have chronic Lyme, that's it. Too bad, so sad. Just take your medications. That's all you can do. It's just not true. We're here to help you rewrite your health story and your entire life story. So once again, I want to offer you the consultation that we have for you here. It is a full 2 hours of private consultation time with me, and we are going to discover your root causes. It's actually a total health revelation challenge for you. It's 4 days, 4 appointments, a deep dive into your health limitations. We're going to discover those hidden fatal flaws, the different root causes. We're going to do a full analysis of all of your previous test results and pull that all together in one big puzzle and make it fit. You're going to get the targeted testing strategy from us. And of course, you can do this either virtually or you can do it here in our San Diego clinic. Normally, that's an $800 package. But don't worry, I've got a great special for you today. Also, I'm going to give you the action plan to correct your root causes. So this is your personalized nutrition and lifestyle plan. That's normally a $400 value. You will also be getting your targeted supplement protocol for faster results. That's normally $300. And I'm giving you a free bonus, 10% off of all of our physician grade supplements. And of course, that's an unlimited value. You can use that forever for all of your supplement needs. This is a package that's normally $1,500, but I'm giving it to you today for only $497. This is the best consultation that you can get to find your root causes and set you on the path to optimal health. No more being out of control. You're a leader. You're not supposed to be out of control in any area of your life. And if you don't have your health in order, it will limit you. And you were created for great things. You're not supposed to be limited in any way. Of course, I want to give you 100% money back guarantee. When you work with us here, we absolutely will discover your hidden root causes. So right now, where are you at with your health? Have you been wondering why your body is limiting you? Well, I told you today all the reasons that it could be, all of those fatal flaws. And now what I would love to do is I would love to put you back in complete control of your health and help you to know that you can fix this. And the solution is to get started with your first consultation so we can start the process of putting you back in control. And I just want to ask you a quick question. So if you had that absolutely vibrant energy and you were secure, you felt in control of your health and you knew that you were doing everything scientifically possible to prevent future illness, what would that be worth to you? And, I talked to a lot of people over the years about their health. And, I noticed that there's a couple of different kinds of people out there. There's the leaders like us who get it. We care about it. We know that health is our number one asset and we don't play around, right? We just do what it takes to get our health. And then there are those who, well, they're always coming up with the, well, I can't afford it. I can't afford it thing. And, I just don't accept that as an excuse anymore. One reason why is because I was very, very broke when I was on disability for all those years. And yet I was still able to do it. So, I know that it absolutely can be done. But what I say to those people is I say, wow, so what did you spend your money on last month that was nowhere near as important as your health and your energy and your control over your health? Yeah, I know that in that last month, these people probably wasted enough money in order to discover all their hidden root causes. I mean, that's worth more than you can't even put a dollar value on that. Getting your health problems solved? So I say to those people, which would you rather have? Would you rather have those other little purchases that you had? Or would you rather have your energy and your edge? And for me, that's a no-brainer because I achieved my transformation already. I am one of those thousands and thousands of people who are rocking it in the world now, who are crushing it. I took back my control and now I'm one of the winners. And if you want to join me, I'm happy to help you. So again, the longevity assessment that we have for you today, it's 2 hours. It's a 4-day deep dive. We're going to analyze all your previous test results. We're going to give you the targeted testing strategy. Then we're going to give you the action plan to correct your root causes. We're going to give you that personalized nutrition and lifestyle plan, plus your targeted supplement protocol for faster results and the 10% off of the supplements. And it's normally a $1,500 package. And today you're getting that for $497. And I want to remind you that there is just one of me. I'm going to give 5 of these packages away for $497. And then we're done for a little while because these are deep, intensive consultations. And I just can't keep giving them away for $497. So go ahead, book your consultation now. So what will happen when you pull out your phone and you use the QR code here is within 24 business hours, our client concierge is going to give you a call. They're going to start all your paperwork. And by next week, you're going to be sitting in front of me and we're going to find your solutions. We're going to find those root causes. We're going to find those fatal flaws. And then we're going to start fixing them. There is no other decision. This is absolutely the right thing to do. If you're a leader and you don't want anything limiting the life that God created you to live, especially not your health, something that scary, something that terrible, that could literally take everything that you built away from you, please don't let that happen to you like it happened to me. It can sneak up on you and it can grab you when you least expect it. This is your health that we're talking about. This little bit of money is nothing compared to the benefits for life that you're going to get from this consultation and from working with us here. Just remember, if you don't take action, don't expect change. I want to thank you so much for being here with me today and for learning and taking the time. I'll go ahead and put this QR code up on the screen so you can go ahead and pull out your phone, grab that consultation, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.